Hello everyone and welcome back. So I think in the last video I said that I ended up using the game dev toolkit from side effects to create this. I just realized that I didn't. I ended up creating everything custom from scratch, and we're gonna pursue implementing that here. So what I was talking and referring to is this part here, which is called the game development toolset, and they have a lot of nodes. If you search for flow, you will see that they have a node to generate a flow map based on the curvature of the mesh, a flow map based on guide, a flow map to add obstacles, and it basically creates a UV coordinate. They have tutorials for each of this segment. So if you want to explore this idea on how to move texture along the surface in an interesting way that can be used for a river or anything, look at this. But for now, I want to pursue and show my idea. So far we've gotten two things. We've gotten a U and V texture, and we were able to push the texture in an interesting way. And if after the result with this green node that I copied over, we are getting some really nice distortion here. So I'm still not very happy with the result because I'm not seeing a flow of that this wire. So I'm not seeing a flow there, okay? And what I want to do is I want to introduce some of that back onto the geometry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down up until here and visualize this result. Let's visualize it with the texture. I'm going to use an attribute transfer attribute, and I'm going to transfer the point position. So I don't need any attribute. I'm just going to tick on match P, and when I do that, all the points are going to snap onto the surface. I don't need any of this, the points P. Okay, so if I play with this value, you will see that we're getting distortion there. So if we smooth this out like this, it's going to change the topology of the mesh. And if I look at it now, with and without, we're getting that pinch in there. See? By just moving, by just doing an attribute transfer between the two. And this is something applicable to any other geometry. Let's say if we wanted to add an obstacle, for example, I'm going to put down a sphere node, and let's scale the sphere. Something like this. I'm going to use an attribute transfer. We could cut the sphere in half just to make sure that we have details only where we need them. And if we do an attribute transfer as well, we will see that we're pushing the geometry away, and now we're getting this distortion around the sphere. So if we move everything now, let's see. Yeah, let's add our add node back and enable it. So if we play through the timeline with that simple offset, what is happening? Okay, let's see. Okay, it's not moving. Sorry, we lost the attribute. So $F divided by 250. And now if we view this result and hit play, it's going to move in a very interesting way. Okay, cool. So the last thing I want to add is a multiplier that can make, I don't have to distort the mesh, okay? But I found that it gives a really nice result with this effect. But the other thing I want to do is I want to move the flow faster. So we did this attribute transfer, okay? And what we can do is we can fix the mesh. If we wanted to restore the actual mesh, we can do that. I'll show it in the next video. But for now, I'm gonna transfer the I'm gonna create a color. It's red, and I'm gonna set the color to, let's do it here, to black here. I'm gonna attribute transfer from this onto this, and I'm gonna plug in the wires. I'm gonna transfer CD, lower this, and soften it as much as possible. Okay, so we have this information, and I'm gonna disable this node here, or these two nodes, and move them after, because I need that information afterwards. And now if we dive inside, actually let's not use red, so I'm gonna disable this and create an attribute called mask. We can use the colors just to visualize temporarily, and then here I'm gonna say mask is equal 0. I kept the colors because we want the black and white information, and it's being used here. So let's make sure everything is still working. No, it is not. Okay, so I'm gonna restore it back. I don't want this video to take too long, so I'm gonna restore it back, and let's take a look at the UV. I'm gonna illustrate what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we have this, and I'm gonna transfer a new attribute from this mesh, from this curve, onto the geometry. And let's do the red transfer for now. So we have that. We have the black color, and then here I'm gonna copy this node again, or here I'm gonna create a point VOP, and let's dive inside. I'm gonna bind import the UV coordinate, or we have them. So what I'm gonna do is vector to float. I need that red color, and I'm gonna multiply a UV coordinate by that, or add to it. So let's say I'm gonna fit range this. It goes between 0 and 1. I'm gonna say it goes between 1 and 2, so we don't change any values here of the existing UV, just here, so it gets faster. So we change the range from 1 to 2, multiply either the U or V, we'll figure that out in a second, and then bind export this as UVs. So yeah, I think we can do it here, and that will illustrate what I'm trying to say. So that's our U coordinate, float to vector. So this is our new U coordinate, this is our new V coordinate, or existing V coordinate, and let's do a quick shade here, and let's set the color to white so it's visible. Okay, so see, now with that attribute transfer, we're getting different textures here. Let's hit play. Yeah, I think the multiplication is too much. So let's say 1.2, 1.4. And let's play with it to see if it's, yeah, it's pushing along the V. So we don't want that. We want it to push along this way. So I'm simply going to use this to multiply this instead. And this is going to be my new U direction, and this is going to be my existing V. And you see it's stretching along the curve now. So let's say 1.1. Yep, that's what I'm looking for, 1.05. And now if we hit play, you will see that it's moving along this area faster than everything else. I'm getting too much distortion though. Yeah, maybe we should lower the attribute transfer here. Now this is for the sphere. It's fine. And then here, and we can smooth the UVs again. And the point, let's smooth out the points. Maybe we did too much distortion. Yep, something like that. And the last thing we could do is we can quickly fix the geometry, all this distortion, so the mesh doesn't change. Actually, the mesh is not bad, so I'm not gonna change it. But we could use the same raying method that we did in week 4 to fix the displacement. We just put the plane underneath this and then shoot rays up, and that will have them find the nearest point on that surface and copy the UVs from there. So this is what I did, and this is how we can get something moving along the surface. Now, this is not all of it. We still want to add more randomization to this. Okay, and we're going to do that in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.